Paul Goldsmith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do want to start by referring to the Honourable John Banks, and I'm conscious that we have a debate following this one. The court has adjudicated on Mr. Banks that he did the wrong thing, and he has certainly paid a high price for it, and people will make their own judgment on that. But I do hope that his active public service of nearly 4 decades draws to a close, that people will recognise that for all his faults, he tried his best and he made a significant contribution. It was he who first drew me into politics 18 years ago when I began writing his biography as a Green History graduate, then working at the Waitangi Tribunal. And for better or worse, and I'm grateful to him for that. Mr. Speaker, 3 months out from the election, speculation about what will happen in the seat of Epsom is picking up strongly, and commentators can speculate all they like. As we all remember, the party vote was the primary objective for us in the 2011 election, and whether that remains the case in 2014 is for another day, and the Prime Minister has said that many times. But let us not forget, Mr. Speaker, that under MMP it is the party with the most party vote that wins the election. And that is the simple reality in Epsom and in every other electorate in the country. And the overwhelming sentiment that I hear day in, day out, as my family and I live in Epsom, in school functions, at the supermarket, on the doorstep, is that people want John Key to remain Prime Minister and the national government to remain in power. And this is not at all surprising, Mr. Speaker, because this government has done a magnificent job in steering the economy through these past 6 difficult years, through difficult economic times, and so people can see that we are heading in the right direction, Mr. Speaker. The economy is growing at around 4%, inflation is subdued, interest rates have been kept lower for longer, Mr. Speaker, average wages are rising faster than inflation, and unemployment is falling. This is the time to consolidate the gains and continue the never-ending challenge of improving New Zealand's international competitiveness, which is what sustains our living standards. Consistency, Mr. Speaker, and predictability leads to confidence. Confidence encourages people to invest, and investment leads to growth and jobs. And now, Mr. Speaker, Epsom, which includes the suburbs of Remuera, Parnell, Epsom and parts of Mount Eden, is full of wealth creators, people who have their own businesses, who take risks and employ people. I meet with them every day and I celebrate their success. Their success is New Zealanders' success, and they don't look to government to solve all their problems, but simply to create an environment of consistency and predictability. And they expect, Mr. Speaker, the government to be managed properly and to spending to be disciplined. And that's why they support John Key and Bill English and this government in large numbers. And I'm proud to play a small role in that in Parliament and on the ground in Epsom. What most people struggle to understand is why on earth we'd want to lurch in a new direction just as we've got the country heading in the right direction. Why we'd want a capital gains tax, why we'd want to overturn monetary policy, why we'd want to nationalise electricity and become a global leader in climate change policy. So we contrast John Key as the leader you know what you get with Mr. Cunliffe, who cannot recall writing a letter in favour of Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Dong Wah Lu, he can't recall whether or not he wrote a letter. I remember somebody else being in a similar predicament. I'm reminded, Mr. Speaker, of a quote from a well-known UK fictional politician, which seems highly relevant to Mr. Cunliffe, and it started after the smiles, after the handshakes, after the arms round shoulders and the merry hollow laughter, after the conditional promise and the purchased friendship, after the elusive dangling reward and the nagging threat. After all that, the calculation of the odds, the sifting of the probabilities, and then the fear. Fear in the smell of damp newsprint and the crackle of the radio. Fear that this may be the day we wake up to find the magic gone, Mr. Speaker. And I'm afraid that's what's happening with Mr. Cunliffe and the Labour Party. They're hanging their heads in shame at the moment. All the List MPs know that they won't be coming back. There's very good probability there at least National Health is likely to have List MPs after the election. Labour, under all the probabilities, will have 0 List MPs, and their stunning careers, Sue Moroney's stunning career, is going to be coming to an end the way things are going, and I feel very sorry for her on that account. Mr. Speaker, it's very interesting to see John Armstrong and many of the commentators saying right now, right here today, that Mr Cunliffe is in deep trouble, Labor in deep trouble, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
The member's time has expired. Dr Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. During the past recess, the Green Party launched its climate protection